right. Good morning, folks. Happy Tuesday. I hope you guys are all doing well. Welcome to Advisory. I hope you guys enjoyed the game from yesterday and got to know your A-Day Advisory folks a little bit better. Today, we are continuing our talk about
How to be a Longhorn.
and today we're going to be talking about something that is a change from last year, and that is about our devices.
New policies for devices. There are some new policies for devices. We've got some new procedures for those computers, and it is time to go talk about them now. That's right, folks. We've got some.
That's right, folks. We've got some new things happening. Change is upon us this year. And we've got some new device policies and procedures that are going to be a pretty major shift for students that are used to the ways that we have done it before. But while I know that the change might be difficult for some, overall, I believe in our ability to take on change. And I just want you to know that this change was not made lightly, and we spent a lot of time thinking about it. So, that said, here are the new procedures. All right, the major change is students will no longer be issued individual devices. I will now pause for the weeping and the gnashing of teeth from the students and the cheering from the teachers. That's correct. You are no longer going to be getting your own computer to take around with you wherever you go. Instead, each class that needs them will receive around 30 devices or more, if the cap is more, that will stay in the room. We have these lovely new carts that are going to keep our lovely new computers charged and ready for us in each classroom that we go in. Teachers and students will collaborate to keep the devices in good working condition. That means that it is your responsibility to keep the devices good, and it's your responsibility to help your teachers keep their class set in working order. Okay, with this new policy, with these new changes, here are the expectations for you as the student. Number one is only use the device that is assigned to you in each class. Each class is going to have labeled Chromebooks that are going to be associated with a specific student. So for instance, in maybe my English class, I'm going to have computer number 4, and that's the computer that I'm going to have for the rest of the year in that English class. I don't take it with me, but I keep it in that English class, and I always know that number 4 is the one that I use. I'll show you more about that later. Number 2, treat devices with respect, understanding that you are not the only one who needs to use it. So if I'm in my second period English class, I know that there are 2 more classes later that day that are going to need to use it. Not only that, this is the computer that I am going to have to use for the rest of the year. And so it's very important that I treat it with respect. This is when the community gets involved, all right? This is when we start to realize, oh, I need to be kind to this device because somebody else is going to need to use it later. The third expectation is to, of course, leave the computers in class. Do not remove computers from their class for any reason at all. We know exactly which computers go into which cart because we've scanned them into that cart and into that room. And so if you take a computer out of the class, we will know, and you may lose privileges in that class or another or whatever, but you have to keep the computers in the class that they are in. Again, it goes back to the fact that there are 7 other classes other than yours that need to use that device. Now down here, if you see something wrong with the device, you need to report it to your teacher immediately. This is very important because you don't want to be held responsible for whatever happened to the computer. And so if you walk in and there's a cracked screen or there's a missing key or something is wrong with the software and it's not loading, you need to report that immediately to your teacher so that they can report that to us and we can get that fixed or replaced. But you need to be the one to report it as soon as you say it so that you're not held responsible. And this one should go without saying, but you need to follow all teacher instructions and expectations regarding device use in class. So if your teacher has a system set up to where you walk in and you grab your computer and you get started, then you follow that. If your teacher has times that you do and do not use the computer, you need to follow those expectations. But you need to listen to your teacher because they are also responsible for keeping up these devices. It's a collaboration. And by the way, these are the teacher expectations, and these are the things that we hope that you, the students, will help them with. Your teachers will reinforce student expectations consistently throughout the year. Your teachers will check that all computers have been returned at the end of each class. Teachers, you may want to appoint somebody per class, like a student helper, that will help you do this. You don't have to necessarily do this yourself. Students, you can collaborate with your teachers in making sure that this happens at the end of each class. All computers are back. When you, as students, report to teachers that some sort of damage has happened, then your teachers will report that to us as soon as possible. We got new computers this year, new Chromebooks, and they are pretty good at holding a charge for the duration of the day. But teachers need to make sure, especially in our last periods of the day, 4th and 8th, that they are charged and ready to go for the next day. And students in 4th and 8th periods can help out with that as well. And then, of course, your teachers will establish and maintain clear expectations for when computers will be used and when they will not. For each class, there will be something like this, where it'll have the teacher's name at the top, the class period, and your class name. The expectations, at least in brief, that I have laid out for students, which is to only use the computer assigned to you, treat devices with respect, follow teacher's instructions, and if you see anything wrong with your device, report it immediately. Each computer will have a number on it, and each number will be assigned to a student name that your teacher writes out and puts out for your class specifically. It's very important that you only use your computer, that you don't use anybody else's in that class. Now, I know this is a very big change.
Yeah, I'll say, Mr. Hall, it's a huge change. Why are you doing this to us? Why?
There are a few reasons. One of them is to make sure that we have all the computers we need when we need them. Be honest right now, and I need to see a raise of hands, all right? I need to see a raise of hands. How many of you, whenever you had computers to yourself last year, maybe in middle school or here in high school, forgot them?
Oh, it's not charged. I'm so sorry. Oh, I'm sorry, mister. I left it at home.
All that is done. You don't have to keep up with it anymore. Instead, the computer will be there every time you need it. How nice is that? This will also help us make sure that our computers stay in working order. I gotta tell you, I had some crazy things given back to me last year at the end of the year whenever you guys returned your computers. I saw shattered screens. I saw burnt plastic. I literally had somebody bring me a computer with burnt, warped plastic on the end because it had been left next to a fire, and they said,
I don't know, mister. It just stopped working.
yeah, it tends to do that when you throw it in a fire. So this will just help us make sure that we keep our computers in working order, that the responsibility to keep up with them at home and here and back again is taken off of your shoulders, and instead you just have to focus on keeping them in working order here in your classes. This is a change, but we hope it will be a positive change and will ensure that we always have these things when we need them. And it's really cool because this year we got brand new Chromebooks that every class is going to have.
Ooh, new Chromebooks.
So we will be handing out computer carts to classrooms starting this week. At the beginning of next week, we hope to have them all out and ready to be used. But it's very important that before those computers get to your classroom, that you understand the new expectations and that you work with your teacher throughout the year to keep these guys in working shape. That's all from me for How to Be a Longhorn today. You're going to have a fun little Would You Rather game on the next few slides, so enjoy that. Be good to yourself and others, and I will see you tomorrow.